Now, in remembrance of the Korean War, exhibitions featuring declassified documents and photos have been held in Seoul all this week. Hwang Hojun went to check some out and filed this report.
66 years. More than 2 generations have passed since the Korean War left much of the peninsula in flames. To mark the 66th anniversary on Saturday, exhibitions have been taking place across the country to encourage people to remember. One of the exhibitions, hosted by the National Library of Korea, displays 130 declassified documents and materials from the National Archives and Records Administration.
Unfortunately, the Korean War is becoming more of an abstract concept to many Koreans. So by displaying documents left by those who took part in the war, we hope people would have a better understanding of the true reality of the war.
The documents allow visitors to examine the U.S. impact on Korea before, during, and after the war broke out. One of these is the first situation report from the U.S. ambassador to President Harry Truman. It shows the U.S. reacted almost immediately to the North Korean invasion of South Korea on June 25, 1950. In contrast, local media reports show a more gradual realization of the gravity of the situation over the next week, as South Korean troops are pushed to the southern tip of the peninsula. An illustration of Operation Chromite, more widely known as the Incheon Landing, shows the strategic brilliance of General Douglas MacArthur. There are also documents showing MacArthur's confidence the war would soon come to an end. As the fatalities began to rise exponentially after the Chinese intervention, the U.S. Army's evacuation plan shows the growing urgency of the situation. The Armistice Agreement is also on display, signed by North Korea, China, and the U.S. South Korea's absence reflects its strong opposition. In fact, even many Koreans are unaware of South Korea's opposition and how the country half-heartedly decided not to obstruct the agreement in order to gain more bargaining power for future political conferences. Another exhibition at the Seoul Museum of History displays photos taken by an Associated Press correspondent. The images of Seoul's destruction, war refugees, and the rioting against the armistice make it difficult to believe the tragedy happened less than a century ago. It offers a new perspective on how South Korea managed to rise from the ashes and transform itself into the modern democracy we know today.
This was Kuala Lumpur 63 years ago. This is the plaza today. Photos and documents remain as proof of the war that divided a country, separated families, but that is also fading in memory, even though it affects everyone in Korea to this day. Hwang Hojun, Arirang News.